Hey, this is Jeffrey Pepper Rogers here for Acoustic Guitar to play you the examples from a lesson on using a capo as an arranging tool. We're going to take the traditional song Rain and Snow and first play it in open position with no capo, and then try a few variations with the capo at different spots on the neck to see what kind of sounds we can find. So we'll start off just with the melody of Rain and Snow, and I'll sing a verse. And I'll just play basic accompaniment here in open position using a D minor and a G5. When I get the G5, that's a G with no thirds in it, just the root and the fifth. And I'm muting the fifth string by leaning my middle finger against it. And instead of playing the open second string, I'm fretting the second string at the third fret to get that G5 sound. So here's example 1. 1, 2, 3. Well, I married me a wife, she's been trouble all my life. Ran me out in the cold rain and snow. Rain and snow. Ran me out in the cold rain and snow. Let me just play that melody on the guitar as is shown in the tab in example 1. So I'll just flat pick the melody like this. 1, 2, 3. So now let's try a more developed guitar version. Along with playing the chords, I'm going to play bits of the melody on the bass strings to come up with a more complete sounding guitar part. One thing to note, for the D minor, I'm fingering that with my index finger on the first string, my little finger on the second string, and my middle finger on the third string. So I'm leaving my ring finger free so it can reach over and grab melody notes on the bass string. So here's example 2. 1, 2, 3. So for this example, I've got the capo now at the 3rd fret, where I can play B minor and E fingerings that will sound as D minor and G chords. For the E fingering here, I'm playing an E5, like we were playing a G5 when we were in open position. And for that, I'm using my index finger, barring across the 5th and 4th strings, 2 frets above the capo, and using my little finger up here 4 frets above the capo on the 3rd fret. Now you can play a B minor like this, or also substitute a B5 chord where you leave the second string open instead of fretting it like that. For the B minor, you can just leave it open. So you can put in one or the other here. So here's example 3. 1, 2, 3. In example 4, I've got the capo now at the 5th fret, where I'm using A minor and D fingerings, which sound as D minor and G chords. So moving up the neck like this, I get this kind of trebly, delicate quality, which gets across something of the original banjo arrangement by Aubrey Ramsey. One thing to note on the D chord, instead of a D5, I'm using a D sus2, just leaving that first string open. Like the D5, there's no third in the D sus2, so it's a related chord that just like the sound of better than playing a D5 in this position. So here is example 4. 1, 2, 3. So for this example, I've still got the capo at the 5th fret, as in example 4. But I tuned the 6th string down to D, so that I'm in drop D tuning, and that means with the capo up at this position, when I play a D fingering, I've got a nice low bass note on the 6th string. Otherwise, the only bass note I have available on an open string is all the way up on the 4th string. So, fills out the sound, especially on that D chord, allows me to play a much bigger sounding D sus2 chord, using all 6 strings if I want. So, here's Rain and Snow, drop D tuning, capo 5. 1, 2, 3. But we tried out a version of Rain and Snow in drop D tuning with the capo up at the 5th fret. But it's worth noting also that drop D tuning works too with this song down in open position without the capo. So example A gives you a little taste of what that sounds like playing Rain and Snow in drop D without the capo. 1, 2, 3. For acoustic guitar, I'm Jeffrey Pepper Rogers.